What's going on, guys? I'm Nick the Tutor, and this channel is dedicated to improving your SAT, ACT, and AP scores. Now, today what I'm going to talk about would be the top 10 things I would personally change about the SAT to make it better. I'm going to talk about a lot of the bad parts of the SAT, a lot of the parts that are not really great, and I'm going to see what I can do to address those and improve them. Here we go. Number one thing I would change about the SAT, I would make it test you more on critical thinking. I think that the ACT in particular, and we'll get to that next time, really tests you on knowledge. I think the SAT also really tests you on knowledge. I would like it to test students more on critical thinking. I think that would make it a better exam, but I don't know if people would really like that. That's just my opinion, but I think a little bit more of a critical thinking component. I think the reason why it could do that is it may be more applicable to real life. If you had some critical thinking problems about real life scenarios, that may be a better test because it's more representative of doing well in school, doing well at work. It just might be more accurate, right? Instead of the test being this aloof kind of standardized test, it can be more relatable to real life, more relatable to work-related critical thinking. So I think that would be an improvement. Number two, a lot of people have suggested that we split the math part of the SAT up into different tiers. Like there's a basic math SAT and an advanced math SAT. So students that are advanced in math can just compete against each other on an advanced math SAT. I think also students that have not taken Algebra 2 Trig really do struggle to get caught up on the material. So a lot of people have suggested, and it might be a good idea to have kind of a split math part where students who are accelerated and advanced in math can prove how great they are at it, and students that aren't, can still do well and just at an appropriate level. Number three, and this must be done, I'm so strongly in favor of this, remove the essay, dude. Just get rid of the essay. The essay is garbage, it's trash, no one likes it. It doesn't really show any actual essay writing skill. You guys are writing tons of essays for your college applications, right? We don't need an essay at the end of the SAT. So no need for that, just get rid of it. Number four pertains to reading comp. I think the reading comp passages need to change. They should be more culturally relevant. They should be more updated for the current student. I don't think we need to read about, stuff from the 1800s anymore. Although I recognize the importance of that, save that for history class, SAT. Make the passages more relevant. Students will have a better view of the test if they were reading things that they actually had some interest in. You can make the questions hard. Be my guest, but just make it more relevant, bruh. Number five, guys, I think the SAT needs to do a better job of promoting equality in education. It is a nonprofit. It does have billions of dollars. What are they doing for students, right? They're giving you a test, but what are they doing to enrich students? What are they doing to provide free programs? I know we have Khan Academy, but I feel like more could be done. And I think we could all agree that we would like more fairness and more help, right? So I think that's one thing the SAT could focus on. They tried to give a context score. If you guys remember, there was a context score. I forgot the name of it, but that was going to put your score into context of other students in your community. That was a major flop. People were actually very offended by that. Maybe they need to come up with something different, but I think the idea was okay. We do want a level playing field. So give it to us. All right, number six thing that needs to change about the SAT, it needs to stop being such a money grab. I don't think kids should have to pay to send their scores to colleges. Yeah, you should have to pay to take the test, but why does it cost money to send the score to the college, or at least cost that much? It should be a much lower cost. Overall, it's just getting way too expensive and they're making way too much money. So that just needs to change, or at least if they did make that money and it was put towards programs or charity or so on and so forth, I think people would really like that. If I'm wrong and that's what they do with the money, then hats off to them. But I think the negative perception is probably real and people are just not happy about how much they have to pay to send their scores. So change that. Number seven in the list of things that need to change about the SAT, let's just get a uniform policy on scores, right? Are all schools test optional? Are all schools requiring tests? I think we should just go test optional for all schools. Let students decide whether they want to send it or not. The high achieving students with great scores can send it. The students that don't have good scores don't have to send it. Just give the students peace of mind that they know what they're doing, right? This school by school basis thing, is just a joke. Same thing goes for sending the scores. Some schools want all the scores. Some schools only want some of the scores. Just give us one policy, right? Like we just need one policy, one way to do things. Really simplify stuff for students. I'm highly for that. All right, guys, number 8 thing they should change about the SAT. I really think they should have a science-ish section. I do really like that part of the ACT. I think, you know, there's a measly attempt on the SAT to have some charts and graphs. Look, people in real life at work read charts, graphs, information, right? Let's add some more relevant things to students. One of them would be a section like the ACT Science, which I think actually has the most applicability to the real world. So why don't we add something similar, get rid of section 3, replace it with an analytical task of analyzing graphs and charts or something like that. Awesome change. Number 9, I think they need to even out the section times. I think it's ridiculous that certain sections are over an hour long and then another section is 20 minutes. Why, right? It just makes it more confusing for students taking the test and just strangely emphasizes time management on certain parts and, you know, not emphasizing time management on other parts. Even it out a little bit, right? Just get it a more uniform test. All of the tricks and the bells and whistles of the time and the passages, if they just made it more straightforward, I think students would gravitate towards a simpler test. That's why over the years, students really liked the ACT better, and a lot of students did prefer that test because it just was more straightforward and less tricky. All right, and lastly, guys, I think the final change you should make about the SAT pertains to the math. I think they should make the math section of the SAT more real-life math instead of all of the word problems that don't pertain to anything in real life and all of the crazy stuff that they ask you to do. If they had more real life problems, I think people would be more appreciative of the test. I think it would be more fair, and I think it would benefit students more to take it. It would be better learning experience for students because you'd actually be learning something useful instead of learning things that you'll probably never use again. So I think that could be really beneficial if they made it more real life math. They changed the vocabulary on the test to make it more real life, more usable, words in context. Let's do that with the math. Let's try to get it into a more real life setting. And I think that would really benefit students. I know they do a pretty good job of that now, but I think they could do better. Those are my top 10 changes for the SAT. Let me know below, what would you change about the SAT? Give me some more ideas. I'll comment back. I'll respond to your ideas. I really appreciate it. If you guys give us enough awesome ideas, we'll make a part 2, and we're also going to do one on the ACT. If you want to get some strategies for the SAT, check out this video over here.